Good morning, grade 7 homerooms. Hopefully you've had a good morning so far on this Friday. Here to talk to you just for a few minutes. I know we returned to homerooms today for a few minutes just to talk about what's going to happen in the first week of June. As you probably know, most of you at least, our sixth graders took field trips to the Maritime Aquarium about a couple weeks ago. Now it's your turn. Now, the reason we are going to the Maritime Aquarium is because West Rocks, if you are not sure or haven't heard this yet, we are starting an environmental marine science program here at West Rocks starting next year. We have a partnership with the Maritime Aquarium, and as a result, our students, just like Jefferson Elementary has a partnership and is a marine science pathway and program, we are going to offer that here too for a select number of students that wants to. Just like we offer a dual language program, next year, the Environmental Marine Science program will include multiple experiences each month with the Maritime. So that means that group of students will get to go to the Maritime sometimes. Maritime will come here to West Rocks. If you've participated before, they bring sometimes animals, they bring resources here, and they work with students in classrooms and outside. So as a result of our field trips or after the field trip, if that's something you're interested in and you want to be part of that program next year, you can talk to Mr. Amaya, your counselor, and those classes will be run beginning next year. So if you opt into an environmental marine science, you'll have multiple experiences each month, and eventually it'll be integrated into the curriculum, whether it be your science class, social studies class, even you're reading about something, interdisciplinary across all content areas. So just that's the reason for it, because next year we'll not only have dual language, we're going to have our marine science, as well as we're going to start continuing to grow our music and visual and performing arts as well. So all those programs will be here at West Rocks. That being said, the Maritime Aquarium. So many of you might have been there already, but this is a unique experience that we are going to be going over the course of 3 separate days. We're going to break the 7th grade up into, based on your cohort, there's going to be a group, and I'll talk about the permission slips in a second. Alpha 7 is going to go one day, Beta 7 is going to go another day, and Delta 7 is going to go the third day, with a little bit of crossover just so we can balance our trips. But basically, you're going to go in the morning. Half of the group is going to go on our vessel, the boat, and if you can see a picture of that boat on the left side here. Well, the other half of the group actually takes a guided tour of the Maritime Aquarium. If you haven't been there, there's a seal exhibit, there's sharks. It's awesome. Really nice stuff. And it's a guided tour with somebody from the aquarium, and you'll have your teachers as chaperones as well. And so after a couple hours, the group who's doing a guided tour eats lunch, and then they get to go on the boat. And then the people who are on the boat for a couple hours come back, they eat lunch. It's going to be a bagged lunch from our cafeteria. If you'd like to bring your own, you can absolutely bring your own. But that's the only thing you'll actually be bringing on the trip, if you choose to, is your bagged lunch. But we will provide lunches for everybody. It'll be sandwich and a snack and a fruit, just like you would expect from our cafeteria. And then that group who had the vessel, then they eat lunch. Then they get to go do the guided tour in the afternoon. So really, it's a full day for about 1/3 of our 7th graders over the course of 3 days. So if you haven't already, homeroom teachers, please pass out. You can give out your permission slips. I'm going to talk a little bit about them. And I'll remove this just so you can see it. English on one side, Spanish on the other. And on the second sheet is what you actually need to return. English on one side, Spanish on the other. And there's even a QR code. So if your parent or guardian just wants to do it on their phone, they can quickly scan and fill it all out. And you actually don't have to turn this back in. So what the permission slip is, and this tells you a little bit about the trip, is on Wednesday, June 1st, if you're an Alpha 7, at 8:30, so you're going to come in, check in a homeroom, grab some breakfast, then you get called down to the cafeteria right around 8:25 before we do Panther News. You're going to leave all of your belongings in the classroom, and it's going to be June, so it's going to be a little nicer. It is cold and chilly on the boat, so you do want to dress appropriately, like a jacket. You want to wear regular shoes, not Crocs, because they may get wet and or you'll slip. So we want to dress appropriately. And again, it does get windy out there. So at 8:25, you're going to get called down to the cafeteria, grab some breakfast, leave everything else in your classroom locked in. And Alpha 7 is that first Wednesday. Then you're going to go on a trip that I just described. We're going to have bag lunches for you. And then you're going to come back here right around 2 o'clock. And you'll be plenty of time before you get dismissal. So it's normal day for you. If you come on a bus, come on a bus. If you get dropped off or walk or ride a bike, you can do that in normal time. Get breakfast, lunch, and then you come back here, have a little bit of time before the end of the day. And then however you get home, you normally get home, you would do the same thing. So Alpha 7 is going to be on Wednesday, June 1st. Thursday, June 2nd is Beta 7. And then Friday, June 3rd is Delta 7. It is free. It is free because we want to make sure every student is aware of what marine science is and what the Maritime Aquarium has to offer. Because if you do want to opt in and choose in to the Environmental Marine Science program starting next year, this is your opportunity to ask questions and get to know whether there's something that interests you or not. So that's the purpose of it, and it is free. Norwalk Public Schools is providing it for all West Rock students. So don't worry about pay or anything like that. And it is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, last part is this permission slip needs to be returned to your homeroom teacher no later than Tuesday, May 31st. So we have a week. You're going to get them today. We come back. You go away for the weekend. I'm going to send this electronically to your families as well tonight. And it's included in our email blast, and it'll be reminded next week too. But you're going to bring it home, and at some point over next week, prior to next Friday, ideally, you would and your teachers will remind you. We'll put some reminders on Panther News. Your parent can either scan it in and do it electronically, or you return this side completed, just this one, and you can save the other one, rip it. This one stays home. This one comes back to school to your homeroom teacher, or it's done electronically, so you're eligible to go on the field trip. No later than Tuesday, the 31st. That does need to be returned. And if it isn't, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to go on the trip. So that is our not only school policy, but district policy too. Again, if it's something that interests you, make sure that you talk to Mr. Amaya, and we can, because he's your school counselor, and I will work with him on what that looks like. If you have any specific questions, again, you take your normal schedule next year. However, if you're in the marine science program, you'll have multiple experiences each month, and if you're not, we are guaranteeing everybody gets at least one experience in the year. So we'll have a field trip for you guys as 8th graders next year to the Maritime. So everyone gets one, but you can opt into that program. If you have any questions, you can ask me, you can ask your counselor, or if you want to if homeroom teachers want to kind of talk about it quickly, and if you have a list of questions that your kids may want information on, I can answer all those kind of generally if you want to shoot those to me or Mr. Amaya. That way we can kind of talk about it over the next couple of days so you get that information to your homeroom, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of repeated questions that you have. But most importantly right now is field trip permission forms goes out. Everybody gets one. 7th grade homeroom teachers, make sure everyone gets one and bring it home. And it's either electronically or by paper to your homeroom teacher, hopefully next week, but no later than Tuesday, the 31st. Give it just 1 second. Somebody who's in the chat has a question. Not sure who that person is. But I'll leave it there. If you want to shoot me a quick email as you're talking about it, that's fine. Otherwise, you can use the remainder of the time to either talk about this and or do your digital citizenship. Lesson 7, we'll only have one more week of it, which will be next week before we wrap up and do our post-assessment. So good luck. Have a great day and a great rest of the weekend.